Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great weekend. As you can tell from the video title, I wanted to share with you a review on the new Zpacks Classic Sleeping Bag 10 Degree that I bought a few months ago. Obviously you can tell from the title, I probably don't have the most positive experience with it, but this isn't like a bashing video. I just wanted to make this so I could share with you all the quality of the sleeping bag, how it compares with my 20 degree quilt from Zpacks, and then share with you a little bit of my experience interacting with their customer service about this sleeping bag. Okay, so before we get into the actual details and meat of this video, I kind of just want to give a few side notes first. Number one, I am a warm sleeper. So I feel like I see a lot of videos and reviews, comments where people are, I feel like mostly cold sleepers. So it's not that I can't relate to the feedback on that. It's just I will tell you up front, I am a warm sleeper. It's kind of a joke that in my house, me and my boyfriend, he has all the warm stuff when we sleep and I have the cold blanket because it's just like a quilt that stays cold. So total side note. I also want to say I have been a fairly dedicated Zpacks customer for the past 3 or 4 years. So I do want to reiterate, this is not a bashing video on the company. This video also will not be focused on specs. This is simply my experience and honest review, and that's it. So let's get into it. So behind me, the orange one, this is the 10 degree sleeping bag that I bought in, I don't remember if it was September, October, November. Must have been November. I bought this near the end of 2023, so it has been several months now that I've had this. I've used this on 2 overnight trips, and both of them were 1 night each. So that's my experience with this one thus far. Prior to that, I bought the Zpacks 20 degree quilt in 2020, in October to be exact. And it's the only sleeping bag, sleeping quilt type item that I've had in my sleep system. Well, even though I do sleep warm, it has turned out that I have realized in the past couple years that I just don't like quilts. It's not my thing. I absolutely can't stand the quilt. And the whole thing is you're supposed to use the quilt to like have the 2 flaps going over each side of the sleeping pad. It's supposed to strap around it. You're supposed to be able to move freely. I don't even sleep like that on the sleeping pad. I wrap one side under me, have the other one wrapped on the other side of me. And I'm a side sleeper. So I go from this side and then I'll flip over and go to this side. And every time I do, I have to bring both flaps with me. I'm just getting tired of that with the quilt. So the 20 degree quilt, 20 degrees is what it's rated for. I don't think anyone's expecting to go out in 20 degree weather or anything under that and be incredibly comfortable. But I will say that the lowest temperature that I took the 20 degree quilt out in was 19 degrees. And I remember it to be exactly that because it was me, my mom, and my dad. We were going to attempt a through hike of the Foothills Trail. One night out there, the day after Christmas, 19 degrees. No, we left the next day. It was way too cold. Number one, it was so cold that no one wanted to eat dinner. Number 2, it was so cold no one wanted to get out of the tent to pee. Number 3, it was so cold it was not a comfortable night. However, I do want to mention that the only time I felt cold using that quilt was when I did my whole rollover process and the flaps came open and the cold air came in and my heat went out. That is the only time that I felt cold in that quilt. Fast forward to 2023 and I get this 10 degree sleeping bag. Okay, I'm thinking I've always used the Zpacks. I've had an excellent experience with it. Why don't I just get their sleeping bag? Because the whole thing that I want is the zipper. So if I want the zipper, I should be able to get the same product, rated for a lower temperature, and be super toasty warm. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I hate to talk bad about a product from Zpacks, but the simple truth is that this 10 degree sleeping bag did not keep me warm. We took this out in the mid 30s. I mean, we can even round down to 30. And both times I was so cold And I didn't have an abundance of layers on, like people say, you know, if you have too many things on, then your body temperature can't, I don't know, heat up the space, and it's better to be naked in there, blah, blah, blah. I had on base layers, just Smartwool base layer, long sleeve top, long pants, probably a pair of Smartwool socks, and that was it. And my beanie, because I always sleep with a hat on. That's all I had on. And I was freezing. So the first time I had on, admittedly, I had a sweater on over that. And I was so cold. I could feel the air coming in on my legs. And I just thought it was odd because I never had that experience with the quilt. And I was like, if this thing zips and the quilt is wide open, surely I'm doing something wrong. So after that first one, my mom suggested that we throw it in the dryer with some tennis balls, fluff it up, maybe it needed to be dispersed. Okay. So we go out on the second trip, which is also just a one-nighter, but it did get down in the 30s, the low 30s. And again, I was cold. Like, I was shockingly cold. I tried to put my entire body, including my head, inside the sleeping bag and pull the thing to just keep it closed all the way around. Like, I know that can create more condensation, but I was freezing. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, there must be a defect because their products are not like this. I shouldn't be this cold. So I contacted Z-Packs. They have excellent customer service. I've never had a complaint. And they sent me an RMA with a return label so that I could ship this one back. And this one is wrinkled because I literally just got it back from this morning. And oddly enough, they tell me that it's actually 9 grams over the specs on their website. Now, my response to that is, if I'm that cold in the 10-degree sleeping bag, and you tell me that it's 9 grams over what it's actually supposed to be, that means I would have been colder if the product was made to your actual regulations. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this is just user error. They did also tell me that there are a lot of things that can affect your temperature in your sleeping bag. They said it could have to do with how many layers, which I knew that one, but they said it can have to do with what you eat, how hydrated you are, where the zipper is. I eat the same thing every time I go out on the trail. I eat all the same things when I go out on the trail. I'm good about hydrating. I mean, I can't think of anything that was significantly different between using this one and using this one. I will tell you that the one thing they told me for sure was that between my purchase of the older one and this newer one, they changed their design. I've heard of companies doing this. I think companies do this like annually. However, if your design change makes a lower rated temperature product colder than a higher temperature product, that makes me question your quality. I've said it. I'm sorry, but it does. So I'm still going to use the other Z-Packs gear that I have. I have their rain jacket. I have their rain pants. I have several stuff sacks. I have the possum down hat. But on that note, I will tell you that I have the possum down gloves, and my mom bought a pair. I only use them once, and I don't like how much they shed all over everything. My mom told me that she has used them twice, and they have holes in them. I wish that I had taken a picture or a video so I could show you, because I'm not going to lie, I was actually shocked that I could see like visible holes. I asked her yesterday to send me a picture so I could put it in this video, but she said she already sewed it up, which I know they're only $25, but if you use them twice and there's holes in them and you have to sew them up just to use them, does that mean the quality is good? Because to me, I'm thinking no. I don't know. It's just a couple questionable things. So I did respond to Z-Packs saying that, you know, I understand a design change, but this doesn't really make much sense. Like, I was warmer in the 20 degree, colder in the 10 degree. How does that, like, in what world does that make sense? In what world does that make sense? As of right now, I don't know what I'm going to use. Me and my mom are hiking the Bartram Trail in a couple weeks, and I'm actually going to be using my sister's sleeping bag. It's a Kelty Sign 20. Before I buy anything else, because honestly, I'm not going to buy another Z-Packs one. I'm not going to buy a reactor liner just to keep me warm when this should be warm in the temperature that I'm taking it out in. So I'm going to try hers out to make sure that I like, you know, the standard mummy style. I'm excited to try that one actually because it's got zippers that go across at the feet and the chest. And then it has a, oh gosh, what's it called? Like a draft collar. And then it's also got like the hood. I don't have any of those on these. So I guess we'll see where that goes. Okay, so the takeaways from this. I don't hate Z-Packs. I still recommend them. I can't recommend their sleeping gear because I'm not having a good experience with it. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. If I had known this was going to be like this, I would have much rather just saved for like 2 or 3 more months and gotten either a Feathered Friends or a Western Mountaineering because this is very upsetting. And because it's past the 30-day window to return, I can't do anything with it except just try to sell it. So I'm going to try to sell it. So that's my experience with the new Z-Packs, well, with my new Z-Packs Classic sleeping bag that I bought. Has anyone, I mean, I feel like I've seen a few review videos where people really like this product. I think that's excellent. If you can get a good sleeping bag and feel comfortable and warm and toasty for $400, honestly, that's great because I love how lightweight it is. I love the price, but I don't like the product. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe this shed a little light on your search for finding a sleeping bag. Maybe it did nothing at all. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your weekend. It's beautiful outside. I wish I was hiking, but I'm not. So anyway, I will see y'all soon, and hopefully soon I'll be on the Bartram Trail. Okay, bye. The quality of the pack. This isn't a pack. This is a bag.